Hello, good evening. Welcome to Business Live. Coming up tonight, businesses react to tax rebates announced in the 2021 budget. They have a common message: not enough.
That if any hotel is able to make profit in 2020, 2021, or even 2022, it must be a miracle.
The Finance Ministry is downplaying any negative impact of fresh taxes on petroleum products on the economy. Ahead, we hear from an expert who is worried about what this means for consumers.
I was thinking that with these fluctuations in the global market, we'll probably circumspect and then hold on.
And later, bread matters. We head to Kumasi, where bakers have halted production of the staple ahead of price increment. We'll have a story from there.
Not everybody can afford their 6 cedis.
Most of us, we don't have money in our pocket to support our family. And even increasing the bread, so it will cost us a lot.
Thanks for joining us, everyone. We've got details right after this break. Welcome back to Business Live. My name is Darryl Kwao. Tonight, businesses are reacting to the 2021 budget, largely disappointed about the introduction of new taxes. Although government introduced some tax waivers, they say that is not enough to make them recover from COVID-19 shocks. First, let's hear the thoughts of President of the Ghana Hotels Association, which was among the worst hit by the COVID-19 pandemic. Edward Akanyamika Jr. is president.
The relief in this budget that appears significant to the industry is a 30% rebate on income tax. But our point is that that rebate is of no use to the hotel industry at this stage of the pandemic. Now, the point is that we started pushing for distress relief package right at the beginning of the pandemic, which by and large we didn't really receive much. So we were hoping that this, after surviving the pandemic for almost a year, and with government having to read a budget for 2021, we were hoping that this budget will address the challenges that we faced in 2020 with regards to the stimulus package. But unfortunately, the only thing, like I said, which is significant in this budget is the 30% rebate. But the point is that if any hotel is able to make profit in 2020, 2021, or even 2022, it must be a miracle.
So what exactly were the tax reliefs announced in the budget? It includes a rebate of 30% on income tax due for companies such as hotels and restaurants, businesses in education, arts and entertainment, and travel and tours for the second, third, and fourth quarters of 2021. There's also been the suspension of quarterly income tax payment for the second, third, and fourth quarters of the year for small businesses using the income tax stamp system. President of the Chamber of Entrepreneurs, Sharif Gali, says government could have done more.
Yes, as an entrepreneur, I would say that it's just one of the budgets we've had, not that too positive. Yes, I must say. But then I would have wished that I would see a more very courageous budget. Why do I say so? We are not in normal times. And now introducing indirect taxes that will go down to affect the citizens of the country will inevitably make things a bit difficult for entrepreneurs. However, I am also happy in one area with respect to the fact that there have been some rebates. That tells you that the government of the day thinks about entrepreneurs. So if you go to the hospitality industry, there have been some rebate. If you go to the transport and tourism, there have been some few other adjustments done there for them. Yeah, so to me, it is more or less an ordinary budget. I didn't actually expect a lot of things on this budget, to be honest, because I know we are not in normal times. I knew for sure the government of the day will increase a lot of taxes that will go a long way to be able to augment some of the things that the country is facing. So it was not to me as a surprise when I saw the COVID-19 levy, the sanitation and pollution and all those things. So yes, it's a normal one in a way to have a direct effect on the business.
And freight forwarders at the Tema and Takoradi ports are seeking clarity on the implementation of the new levies introduced by government in the 2021 budget. Speaking with Joy Business, President of the Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders, Eddie Akron, called on government to give clear timelines on the implementation of the levies to minimize the negative impact on businesses.
And speak to some things. I've seen some increases, like there was going to be an increase in the NHIs, but the reasoning behind it is for COVID relief. Of course, we know that a whole lot has happened since last year because of the COVID, and government had to also take up some things, you know, water, electricity, all those things we've gained. Somehow, somebody has to pay for it. So you agree to a point that the increase is slight and it's going to help, you know, the COVID relief. So be it. I mean, hoping that to a point, you know, then these things will be taken care of if we cannot recoup, you know, what has been lost. Then that should be so. Bank charges, okay, that is also going against, you know, what has been lost in the banking sector, you know. So recovery, somebody has to pay for it again, but then also we're saying that if, I mean, those who were involved in that, there could be somehow they have to cede some of the money back to the state. You figure that the state has to find a way to also recover some of the monies, because at the end of the day, you know the banks are going to hit us with those charges. Before you know, you have bits and pieces put up on your, you know, even to collect your checkbooks or your, you know, your card, the usage of the card at the ATMs and all that. So I think some recovery has to be done, you know, to save us the trouble. The difficulty is how you determine that the bank has even put the charge on. Okay, so because you're dealing with the banks, or in any case, if you go there today, so we're now collecting maybe another 5 pesos on, you know, your checkbooks, your checking accounts, or we're collecting another 10 pesos on your card accounts. It is very difficult for you to figure out or determine that this is how, because I don't think they're going to tell you that we're charging you this because of the 5%, you know, or 20% levy that has been put on us. So it's going to be very difficult to determine that.
Meantime, private sector businesses will converge to discuss what the new tax measures in the 2021 budget means for them in terms of recovery and competitiveness. Clement Osei-Amarko is president of the Ghana Chamber of Commerce and Industry, organizers of the forum.
We have a tax regime when we are with the government, the economy is not doing well. And you saw the GDP growth for last year was not encouraging because of the COVID. We expect that most of the tax should have not been contractionary, but that the government would have opened up a lot of, given a lot of tax waivers. Okay. But the government also needs to spend on some key products and services that we cannot, all that he depends on will be the tax revenue that he gets. And so we are not too much bothered with the tax that have been levied on, but on some specific ones that probably we would want to talk about.
All right.
We also want to look at how the government is going to spend its money. As individuals, and for that matter, a private sector, when we look at the spending of the government, it will help us also to adjust ourselves into some of the areas that are opportune. So we are looking at both ones. And we also look at the monetary policy that has to come in with the central bank.
All right.
What the central bank is also doing to augment the government efforts for the budget for this year.
And that forum is set to take place this week. We'll keep you posted. Still with the 2021 budget, the Ghana Association of Bankers says the new levies on their earnings before tax payment is misplaced. Government is introducing a financial sector cleanup levy of 5% on profit before tax. This is to help draw outstanding commitments in the sector. But according to the association, this levy is counterproductive and can affect the ability of banks to attract the needed capital in the post-COVID-19 recovery process of the economy. Meanwhile, the Finance Ministry is downplaying any negative impact of fresh taxes on petroleum products on the economy. Government in the 2021 budget is introducing 2 new taxes on fuel. Now, there are fears that this may destabilize the economy as a result of expected inflation hikes and rise in the cost of living. But speaking to Joy Business, President Akufo-Addo's special representative at the Finance Ministry, Charles Edubuahi, noted that government carried out impact assessments before introducing the levies.
We really had a big debate in 2018, I believe, when we were looking at increasing the road levy, right? The road fund levy. And the road fund levy is a direct is a direct petroleum tax like this. And there were concerns at the time that it might lead to transportation price increases and inflation and so on. So that didn't happen. You know, it got absorbed into the system because, in fact, one of the key drivers of increase in petrol price at the pump has been the bad management of the city, because there's a huge component of the price at the pump that is embedded in the city depreciation, because you buy your crude products in hard currency, you bring it in and you sell in cities. So any depreciation in the currency is passed on to the consumer in a deregulated market. Since we've managed to keep the city so stable, we have enjoyed some of the lowest crude prices or prices at the pump over the last 3-4 years. So depending on how astutely you manage the economy, you are able to add on a few pesos onto the price of crude, of fuel at the pump, and still will not have that ripple effect in the economy because your exchange rate is stable, inflation is down. So those are some of the factors we look at. Secondly, last year, we enjoyed some of the best prices at the pump because crude prices went down. COVID hit crude bad. I remember at some point it went down to almost $30 a barrel. Yes, now it's back up to 60, 64, 63, but it's still really lower than where it was back in 2019. And at that time, in 2019, the price of fuel at the pump was higher than where it will be today once we apply this new levy. And so because this new levy will only translate into a 5.7% increase in the price at the pump based on last week's prices when we did the last calculation. So we believe that the translative or the incidence of that tax won't create that kind of inflation or increase in prices, that transportation and so forth and so on, that we would have had if this was done in the days when prices of crude were in the 70s or 80s and the city was rapidly depreciating.
Next, we hear the thoughts of energy consultant Dr. Yusuf Suleimana, who says government could have been more circumspect in introducing new levies on petroleum products. He is concerned about the impact on the pockets of consumers who are yet to recover from the economic effects of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Government of the day, or the finance minister, in this case, could have looked at the other dynamics that play into this petrol price build-up. There are three categories of things that play into petrol price build-up. Of course, the exchange rates, global oil prices, and then the taxes. Exchange rates, we are not doing too bad in recent times. Global oil prices is one of the wildest component among these three things that I'm talking about. As we speak now, oil price is around $69, per barrel. We really don't know. That is Brent. We really don't know where this will go. And there are a lot of volatilities within the sector as we speak now, to the extent that OPEC is meeting every other month just to check the market strength and see whether they have to push in oil or they have to take out oil from the basket. And so if you look at the last meeting ended with OPEC still holding to the cut. And the reason being that is simple. OPEC and OPEC Plus members, they are producers, and they are thirsty for high oil prices. So to this extent, it was understandable that they could do that. And why they did that, my opinion, is the fact that over the years or in time past, U.S. shale had the opportunity or was capable or had the muscle to be able to nullify, or if I may say neutralize, the monopolistic tendencies of OPEC. But as we speak now, it's looking like U.S. shale is not having access to the current price in the global oil market. So I was thinking that if you had looked at these dynamics in the international market and juxtapose that with the current prices that the consumer pays at the pump, which is almost like 5.4, I think probably with the 30 pesos cumulatively on the petrol prices, which will translate to about 5.7, the end user is going to pay. I think it will be difficult. It's going to be difficult. Don't be surprised. It will catapult the price, the price build up closer to 5.8, 5.9. And like I said, because this other component, which is the global crude oil prices, which nobody has control over, because that's the wildest component among the three, and we can't do anything about that.
Right. And
because we don't know where it's going to stable, I was thinking that with these fluctuations in the global market, we could have been circumspect and then hold on to this, prices that are built on that are placed on the price buildup.
Speak of petroleum products, more of the major oil marketing firms have now adjusted the price of petroleum products on the market. The latest review are Guel and Shell, which are now selling a litre of diesel and petrol at 5 cedis 45 pesos, coming after Total. The move may force the over 100 firms to adjust prices, as Total, Guel and Shell together can be described as market leaders. Now, prices of petroleum products since the beginning of the year have witnessed more than 10% adjustment. This may push transport operators to start engaging government for an increase in fares in the coming months. We take you next to Kumasi, where bakers say they have temporarily reduced the quantity of bread supply to test the market demand as they start implementing new prices for the staple. The producers announced the new price effective today, Monday, March 15, citing rising costs of raw materials. The bakers expect consumers to accept the new price. Prince Apia has more in this report.
A 5 cedi loaf of bread now sells at 6 cedis. According to the bakers, the price adjustment is necessitated by the rising cost of flour, sugar and other raw materials for bread. Teresa Boachibuedu is a member of the Bakers Association.
We are still maintaining the 6 cedis, which means we are still maintaining the 1 cedi difference. You will still maintain the quality. As for quality, you can never abuse it. That is why we are increasing our price by the 1 cedi.
But retailers of bread want a fair share of the 1 cedi increment. They also maintain the quality of the bread should not be underestimated.
The retailers are worried. Their concern is that they used to buy from their suppliers at 4 Ghana cedis and sell at 5 cedis. Currently, they cannot buy at 5 cedis from their suppliers and sell at 6 cedis because the polythene in which they package the bread for the consumer has now increased from 5 cedis, 50 pesos to 6 cedis, affecting their operational cost.
We, the retailers, sustain the bread business, so they should create a reduction so we can earn some profit. We plead they sell it at 4 cedis 50 pesos because we also make some expenses. Sales is very low on the streets because people refuse to buy when the prices increase. Commodities appreciate in price every time. However, they should increase the quality so that the customers will value the bread to its cost.
Meanwhile, Chief Executive of Uncle Ben's Bakery, Willis Wehe, says the concerns of the retailers will be addressed.
This is the concern that these women are bringing out. As an association, we would look at it because before the end of the year, we're still going to have more increase in price. But all this, we're not going to say we are going to increase bread immediately. Now, it took more than 6 to 7 to 8 years before this increment has come. Now, this 1 cedi leap will take us for years. Now, the only thing we have to do is we have to speak to the women and let them understand our own part. If anything positive, then either one side will have to budge out, but on that we are going to speak to them.
But are consumers satisfied with the increase in bread prices?
5 cedis to 6 cedis, I think is not a good idea. 5 cedis is okay. Not everybody can afford their 6 cedis.
Most of us, we don't have money in our pocket to support our family. And even increasing the bread too, it will cost us a lot.
It means those who are below the minimum income wage wouldn't be able to afford with the price and all that. So I think it's very sad.
Increasing it will still bring stress and a whole burden onto the whole society.
Prince Apia reporting.
We know that nobody wants an increase in the price of bread. And usually we take bread with coffee. Well, let's turn to a coffee story. Some coffee processors are calling on government to expedite the process of improving packaging for coffee products. According to them, their goal is to meet the international market standard. CEO of Cafe Magnifico, Ivy Rare, a young entrepreneur in coffee processing, says the sector is not lucrative at the moment, but should government explore the prospects, it will grow bigger.
Set the ropes for us that are in the sector to play. Like, for instance, we also have the Coffee Roasters Association of Ghana, which we are a member of 8 people, 8 roasters, 8 or more. And we all are learning the industry. So we all are investing, losing money, gaining money here, you know, then fine-tuning our researchers, and then, you know, correcting our mistakes here and there. Sometimes when we started, when we send money to the villagers to give us coffee, our money don't come back again, the coffee too no come, but I'll go drown. So we all that was part of the processing, and life is about process. It's a process. You get to just trust it and then work with it. Yeah, but there's prospects for the industry.
You believe so?
I believe so. I also think so that it's about time the government pool all its resources and support the key industry players. So if the government would come to our aid and then support us with certain things and leverages that we need financially and marketing-wise and bridging the market gaps, I think we'll do fine.
You were mentioning some challenges earlier about packaging.
Yeah.
You have to go to China to make the order and everything.
Design is done here.
Okay.
But the packaging is done in China. Why? Because I don't want to create a product that cannot compete tomorrow internationally. I want to create a product that has prospects to stand in international markets and compete.
Colleague Emma Davis has been engaging a farmer in the Eastern region, a coffee farmer in the Eastern region, Seidu Asmana, on how the industry can be helped to grow.
Already in 2021.
Yes.
But it was only 2018. Because of the planting of exports in the rural development, course have this assembled by then, now municipal assemble. They nursered the seedlings to the farmers, supplies to the farmers, about 420,000 coffee seedlings, which was nursed and distributed to farmers. And that's at now. The farmers I know they have planted them. And so we are expecting from 2023 or something like that, well, we will get something. But 2021, no, I don't think.
All right, to conclude tonight, Money Lab, here's Dr. Richmond Frimpong.
On Money Lab today, we introduce a new word that we have to understand under insurance, and it is called deductibles. If you have been following this series, remember we have explained what insurance is, we've explained the policy itself, we've explained premium, we've explained claims, and we've explained exclusions, that list. And today we want to add to all that we have learned what we call deductibles. Now, deductible is what you pay as a customer when you are making your claim. So the claim is paid by the insurer or the agent or the company. But when there is a deductible as part of your policy, it is something you must pay as part of the claim. And so the next time you pick a policy, check if there is a deductible or not. Because if there is a deductible and they are supposed to pay your claim of, say, €100, $100, 100 cedi, there is a component of it that is your responsibility to also pay, and that is what is called deductible. Now, if there is a deductible, then you will notice that your premium will not be as high as someone whose policy doesn't have a deductible. So the moment there is a deductible, your premium is quite lesser than another policy that doesn't have deductible. That means that one will be higher. Check again if there is a deductible or not.
That's Business Live tonight. There's more news on our website, myjoyonline.com/business. My name is Darryl Kwa. Thanks for watching.